I don't even know that my hair is done. I love me. I do love shinies. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Unnamed Podcast. We just keep recording. We have no idea what we're calling this thing yet. We're still working on names, but for today's Unnamed Podcast, we're gonna call it the Nisi Vision Podcast. Are you okay with that?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you want to be on the Nisi Vision Podcast?
I think that's it.
Let's get you introduced as being like one of our celebrity guests. Because you're only a celebrity in the ecosystem that made you popular. And I think you're very popular. I've seen you in one of the most popular places on earth. You're inspired. Who you are, your celebrity self.
My name is Janice Massenberg. Everybody calls me Jo. It's easier. If you call me Janice, that means you know me. But Jo is always short and cute to the point. What else? About myself?
Yeah, what do you want us to know?
I am a mom of 3. I've been married for 10 years. 9 years. Up until this point, I've been in daycare all my life. Feels like. I'm originally from Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia.
Where'd you go to high school?
I didn't go to high school there, but I ran track.
What did you do? Tell me.
I ran track for T.C. Williams like years ago. I was still in elementary school running for T.C. Williams.
Do y'all understand who, what, when, where T.C. Williams is? I'm not going to tell you. It's just important.
It's a big thing.
It's a big, huge thing. Your mid-20s watching T.C. Williams like 4 times a day. Yeah, that's how often I had to replay my connection to T.C. Williams because I had a 4-year-old.
You loved it.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old that is now 25, and his love of football, JoJo, has created this love of kids, right? He has a 7-on-7 league.
Come on, Caleb. Go! Let's go! Make that play.
Shout out to PCA, Quality Coaching Athletics, and he was just one of the coaches at the North Carolina South Carolina high school football game. So thank you, T.C. Williams, for being the foundation. And those of you who don't know about T.C. Williams, look it up. So if we're going to do this show about Nisi Vision, then we're going to talk through like how I saw Nisi Vision and how I saw you in Nisi Vision.
Okay.
And then you're going to tell me your dreams.
Okay.
And then people are going to watch them come true.
Mm-hmm.
How's that sound?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for a long time, JoJo, I was in a job I didn't want to be in. I didn't want to work at a bank. I'm sorry. I didn't. I was good at it though. Oh, I was good at it. And I enjoyed helping people. And I was appreciated, and I would stay at a bank until I wasn't. And then I just go to work at another bank. And this last time, I wasn't appreciated, and I knew my industry changed, and I was not going to be able to sacrifice my commitment to my community or disturb my moral compass to give the industry what it wanted of me. So I retired, which means I quit.
Right.
And I started remembering my dreams. And one of my dreams was to be a talk show host.
You can see that.
Yeah, I went on Oprah. I was 12. I tell everybody. I hope she sees it. Every show I mention it. And I was also a tour guide for Taste Carolina Gourmet Food Tours on the side. And that, in my mind, was my real job. And one day my son said, Mommy, why don't you just do food tours full time, since you really actually make more money doing that? And I couldn't give up my benefits and my pension and my company sponsored health insurance, life insurance. But if I knew then what I know now, I would have helped people like JoJo realize their dreams. I met you, yo, when I met JoJo. So, shouts out to SP the writer, who is my cousin, and Crystal the Muse for bringing Inkspired to our city. There was a lot of work that went into that night.
Yeah. And it was just for a 3-hour show.
And when I tell you, I had an assignment, and when I arrived on scene, I'm just there. I'm literally like this volunteer that inserted themselves into the experience. And then I meet JoJo, who has been a part of the experience, not only this run, but the last show. And I had gotten an assignment to set the place settings on the table. And JoJo, you totally were not getting anything else.
No, not one bit. Not one bit. I did not see it. But I didn't have time to not see it.
What made you trust that it was going to get done, though? Because there had to be a certain level of trust for you not to take over and make it make sense to you.
Because Crystal gave you the task. So there's not many tasks that Crystal gives people and that she can trust because she likes it a certain way.
Yes.
So being that she was like, don't worry about it, Joe. Niecy's going to do it. Okay. I had already done it. First of all, I had already done it, printed out, had everything laid out. But she was like, no, we're going to scrap shit. Niecy had this brilliant idea. We're going to make these teepees. Okay. What you need me to do? So we get there, you have these teepees. But for me, what I knew was there were certain people that had to sit at a certain table and had to sit in a certain place in those tables. So you come and you're like, put this over there. And I was like, okay, y'all figure it out. I'm going to go over here. Get it done. And that's that. And you did.
You were willing to say, there's a higher authority than both of us that has given very clear directives. That's when I fell in love with you. I said, oh, what the hell? An authority figure that does not have to micromanage everything. No, I wasn't impressed that you didn't micromanage me. I was impressed that you were keeping your sanity.
Yeah.
It was about you. If it was messed up, that was going to be between me and Crystal.
Right. Because she gave you the task. She said, X you, Joe. She got it. Cool. Because if it don't turn out right, it ain't gonna fall. She know who did it. She did these things. She put them on the table.
I was like, in that moment, fascinated with you. I was like, who is this? So that was not our only interaction in the night.
Mm-mm.
The next interaction was, I had this stack of papers.
Yeah, the papers. Yeah, the cue cards.
Yes, and I knew there was gonna come a moment when I was gonna have to turn these papers over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you don't know is this. I was afraid.
Oh no.
I was like, no, this was my task. Like, this isn't a surprise. I know this is my task, and I know at some point you're coming to check me out. And then you did. And you were with Crystal. So I had both of the authority figures looking at me going.
Because she's whispering in my ear.
Mm.
So she's whispering to me she needs something.
Mm.
So I don't have it.
Mm-mm.
That wasn't my task. I got to find the person that has the papers.
Mm-hmm.
So I turn around and you're literally, I think you're standing right there with the papers. I don't think I turned far.
You didn't have to.
Nope, you was right there with the papers.
With
And I'm
the-
like, are those it? Okay, I need those. Thank you.
I don't think she said thank you.
I don't even know. In my mind, I probably did. In my mind, I was very thankful. I was very thankful.
So what y'all gotta understand is I love the movies and I don't watch enough movies, but the ones I've watched, boy, I tell you, this is another movie reference. But I'm gonna tell you this movie, The Devil Wears Prada. Did you have on any Prada that night?
No, I didn't.
You should have.
I should
We have one Prada.
have.
The thing was, I knew from our first interaction that you could make executive decisions and they weren't going to interfere with the flow of anybody's experience. And believe it or not, those are the kinds of things that keep people sane in real life. Someone who can pick, choose, and refuse. My grandmother, that's her favorite phrase. It's on her obituary. So we were kind of debriefing the night, and I remember going, yes, I gave you those papers, and I was like, whoa, it's a lot going on, but they're there. And I was like, I didn't even need any praise. And you were like, yeah, sis, I needed those papers. And it just made me feel so good to be in the frame of mind that I can just do my job, that there's no fanfare behind being on a team, that the end product is the praise. To know that everybody got what they needed. When you looked at me and you said, that was your thank you. And I really appreciate you for trusting me that night, for being kind. You were firm, but absolutely in no way did I ever feel that you were obnoxious or, like your whole demeanor and temperament to everyone, because I watched you all night long. I was like wanting to follow you around. I was like, must be more like this when in charge. It was, and the third thing that happened,
I wonder, go ahead.
someone showed up with some flyers, and I got my afro and sequins dress with a split and my fur.
Yeah.
I had this little fur over my shoulder, like furs. And they're like, sorry we're late, but these are supposed to be on the chairs. And my first inclination was to put them on the chairs, but then I kept thinking, wait, this isn't your show, first of all. You don't even know if this is right. The second thing I thought was, you're not handing out anything in that dress. You're not. So what do? I went to one of the hostesses and I said, hey, explain what happened. And she goes, let me ask JoJo. And I was like, didn't I think of that? I've been looking for her. No, you don't go ask her. I'll find her myself. What I was thinking. And before I knew it, they had taken the things from me. Later in the night, one of the ladies found me and she was like, where are the leftover ones? And I was like, it's my chance. JoJo! JoJo! And I said, hey, they're looking for the rest of those. You go, they've all been put on the chairs.
Yeah.
And I said, okay.
That's it. We put them out. There's no extra. There's no extra. They are on the chairs, gone with the people that sat in those chairs. No, it's out of my hands. Sorry. I did my job. Hand them out. That's it. Because people are going to come back multiple times trying to figure everything out, and some things have just already passed by that it's already done. It's the end of the night. They're gone. So that was me in that moment. I can break that down.
So when we talked, it was so weird because you were like, I didn't know who you were. I was like, who am I? And there's still no, I'm not anybody special. I'm just like a big personality that has worked in the community for a very long time, but worked hard, not out of any particular reason. I just like to do whatever I want to do. And a lot of times it is service oriented. It's always fun. And so when you live a life of leisure, which I do, people are drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that everybody was not doing what they wanted to do because there were aspects of my life I just didn't like being a banker. But I found ways to do it and I was successful, but I was not reaching my full potential. I knew I wasn't, and I was afraid to leave. And so I feel that the accomplishments that have happened in my life so far are minor in comparison to what I know God has given me. And so thank you for seeing the work that I've done so far as being an accomplishment. I really did appreciate that because I almost sometimes, JoJo, feel like I've denied God, like I've allowed the world to use my gifts more than I've allowed Him to use them. And coming to that realization, I had to ask Him for forgiveness, for being too afraid of myself. And when He sent me, why would I do that? God and I had a talk one time and He said, young lady, you're not nice. I said, oh, I know. I was like, man, your kids, they are really getting on my nerves. He said, no, you're not nice to yourself and you're my child too. What are your outlets? What is it that really brings you joy? If you're doing work and rest alone,
That's not it.
Yeah.
I just started therapy, and that's one thing that she has been hammering in my head. Like, you gotta do something for yourself.
Yeah.
You're a mom, you're a wife, you're working, you're doing all the things. What do you do for yourself? What brings you joy? That was one of my tasks last week. What makes you happy, Gail?
Oh, I must have astral projected into your therapy sessions.
Literally, that's so. Like the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to take time for myself.
Yeah.
And trying to find myself, my purpose, and it doesn't have to involve doing the same things that I've been doing. There's a life outside of being a mom. There's a life outside of being a wife, outside of everything. What is it that brings me joy?
Yeah. One of the things I've been really, literally preaching is how healing the arts are. I mean, like, YMCA, you know. And I'm going, what are their outlets? How many other people are going, I don't know what to do with myself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what to do by myself. I don't know what to do with integrating into spaces. And one of the hardest things for me right now is making friends. I don't even know the last time I made a friend.
But you know a lot of people.
But I don't have a lot of friends.
That's big though. You know all these people, but you don't have a lot of friends.
No. And my friends know who they are, and we talk, but not often. You know, there are maybe 5 people that I talk to on a daily basis, and I've been noticing that even my definition of what friends are has changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the days of going on shopping trips, for example, don't exist for me because financially I've adjusted the way I spend money. So that's why I don't have any shopping buddies. I walk 10,000 steps a day in downtown. So I don't have any workout buddies. You know, I'm going, what's the common thread? And there's one thing, honestly, JoJo, I could take this podcast and I could put it in the trash. I could take Nisi Vision and I could put it on the shelf. I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. So when you were talking about mentoring young girls, I got really excited about that because I want to be a better mom.
I do too.
It's hard when you know a lot of people and they know you in the vein they know you. My life requires a lot of me. Someone said to me, they said, I've never met anybody like you. You're in so many ecosystems, but you're at the top of the food chain. And I get home and I don't feel like I have control anymore of anything. And I'm blessed that I have a daughter that is very, very self-aware of who she is, but I want to be more present for her. And so when you talked about doing a mentoring program, I literally signed up, even though it didn't even exist yet.
No.
So tell me what that would look like.
I think for me, my mom wasn't there. She was there, but her having a choice overtook being a mom. So like my coaches, my teachers, my friends' mom, they became my mom, but it wasn't mom. So like when I got into sports, and then my dad, I would see him every other weekend. So he wasn't coming to my track meets, or he wasn't coming to cheerleading, or he wasn't picking me up. My grandparents picked me up from school. Me and my sister walked to school. So not having your mom around, especially to little girls, is big, and your son too, but especially to little girls. So I know that like for me, my friend's mom, they became my mom, but even though they weren't my mom, they felt like mom. Even my mother-in-law now, my mom passed in 2017. So my mother-in-law has been my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't like deliberately teach me, but she's taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just being around her and watching her. And I think that that's big. You don't always have to be teaching, but sometimes just your presence is big. Because they're watching, and that kind of checks me about my own girls. But just being present, it means a lot. It don't take a lot. Like when you do your events, it don't take a lot to create an experience. It don't take a lot to be a mom. And I think what has driven me so much is because my mom wasn't there. So I want to make sure that I'm there for my girls by all means necessary for my kids. That's why I get up every day when I don't feel like it, and I work and I push as hard as I am. And one thing that I can say that I've not done is follow my dreams. I've given up for them, for their sake, you know, but I know I've been where God has wanted me to be, but I'm not fully happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to get off of work and be drained and can't give nothing to my kids. And I'm realizing that now, like, I get home and I don't have no energy for my kids, but I've been gone all day, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the time, but when they do see me, what is it like? What is that moment like for them? I want to wake up and be excited about what I'm going to do for the day.
Yeah.
And majority of my day is work in a job that I've been at for 10 years. And after the 10 years of being there, I'm just now getting in a position that I am.
They respect you.
Right.
Because you are a doer. It's hard when you're a doer, though, because doing will deplete you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm depleted.
Oh, I know.
I left work Friday and I was like, this is not it.
Oh, I know.
This is not it.
I know.
So when you called me Saturday, because I was feeling that way Friday, and you called me Saturday, it was like, okay, I'm interested now. Like the first time you call people, you know, they're telling you about yourself, and you're like, oh, I don't really. But then you call back again. That was when I was like, oh, she's really interested. Because I don't believe people. I don't trust people. A lot of people say, and I'm not saying that you did by all means, but people like to just talk.
I talk a lot.
And people just like to talk and they sell you these visions and these dreams. But where I'm at, it's not that I want to hop on anybody's coattail, but show me the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show me the way. Put me in front of the people. And I did in life insurance for a year. And the way you have to do it, you got to go out in the community and you got to sell insurance, meet families. I was like, I can't do that. I'm working 7 to 3. I can't do that. But if you put me in front of the people, I'm going to sell the product.
Yeah, yeah. And what's so cool is I quit my job to do Nisi Vision. But Nisi Vision wasn't about Nisi. It was my vision for how do I help people.
That's really it. Like serving is I can serve. And that comes, and that's what Inspired felt like me. I was serving.
Yeah. What happens when you plan the experience, JoJo? What's that gonna be like? You know why I asked that? Because that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Mm-hmm. No, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. I don't know what it fully looks like, but I can feel what it feels like.
Yeah.
To get back to something that's my foundation. That was my outlet. When things are going crazy at home, I get on the field and then I'll just leave it on the field, really. Like, I'm a natural runner. Like, I like to run away from my problems, but that's why I like to run track, because you can't run away from your problems, but I can run this 100-meter dash. I can run this 200-meter dash. I can run this 4x1. I can do that. And I was fast. It wasn't like I was doing this and it was in the 4x4, right? You're either first leg, the most important leg, I feel like, our first leg and the fourth leg. It's how we start off, it's how we're going to finish.
Right.
And I ran both positions. I've always liked to finish because you get people see you finishing.
Yes.
But that how you started off, and I when my coach moved me from fourth leg to first, I was upset, and she put this other girl. But to be honest, the other girl was faster than me.
Mm.
But I was also fast too. But how we started, that second and third leg, they were fast, but you just need them to, because it's quick. Second and third is quick. So, I can't lost my train of thought. But either out, that was where it started for me. That in between cheerleading, but I think track is really where it's at for me. And I remember my middle school coach, Ms. Nesbitt. She's this older black lady, and she ain't play no cut cards with us. It be in the middle of the summer, we be out there running. Do it again. I ran so hard one day that I threw up. I was like, oh, that's how I knew that she worked us. But she She had a small team, wasn't a lot of us, but she saw something in all of us, and she worked us and she trained us, but she also mentored us.
Yes, the mentorship.
She's one of those people that stick out in my life. Older Black woman, because I remember I didn't have my mom.
What would your mentorship look like, JoJo?
I'm big on encouragement, push me. We take discipline as something like negative, but we don't realize as people how much we need discipline. All across the board.
That order, right?
Yeah, she was very structured. We even when she wasn't there, because sometimes she would arrive to practice late. But she had got us trained so well that it didn't matter if she was not in the gym. I think she purposely came late just to see what we would do when she wasn't there. Somebody that's gonna instill that in me. That even when you're not around, I can count on you to do the right thing, because we had that trust in her. So that, I think, building trust, discipline, being able to encourage, but the biggest thing is always have fun.
Ooh, we lose that in mothering.
Have fun.
I definitely went through a phase of every conversation was a lecture. And I was like, I don't even like
I let my kids figure it out, because my dad lectured me, and I love him, but he was so hard on me. He was military, so he was so hard on me. It was always a talk. It was always this long talk, and we never had fun. He was always tired. He was always stuck up in his room. We didn't even eat dinner together. We ate dinner separate. And then look at the age gap right here. We don't have enough of this in the community.
Hell no.
As Black women and young Black women, how many women my age have? I don't even know how old you are. Don't matter.
48.
Oh, you're still young, girl.
How old are you?
31.
No, that's a big gap. And you're right. We don't take the time to embrace a woman in her early 30s who survived her 20s. Survive. Your 20s are hard, JoJo.
Listen, I had all my kids all my kids in my 20s. Right out the gate, popping them out. Man.
Right. So, I'm sorry, you were taking care of you anytime in there?
No. Before that was high school. Right. I got out of high school, started having kids, getting married. So I'm just now in a place like, yo, I've given 10 years to my daughter be 10.
So it is important that I remember when I was 30. It was hard to still be youthful and have all of these very adult responsibilities. Since I've literally just stopped seeking companionship, I have so much time for myself. It feels right. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Hey, shawty.
They come lurking out the bushes.
Yeah. Just thinking about you. You know, and I'm like, thank you for the positive energy. Thank you. And I know that's what it is. I'm in a very good headspace, and I'm going to be very honest when I say this. I enjoy when people can feel my positive vibe. I feel better about my life, and I'm less concerned about my future. That's where I am right now, JoJo.
That's a big space to be, especially for me as a person who worries so much about her future and always is worried about her future. So to be in a place where I'm like just taking it a day at a time and enjoying me, loving me, because like I've never loved me, never was taught to love me. So to be surrounded around people who are doing that and pouring in me to do that is so much more motivating than it's ever been. And
it's fun. I said that to somebody. I go, my life is so fun. And she was like, I want to get there, DC. I'd like to talk about a mentoring experience.
It just came to me. I remember I would pick up this little girl every Thursday, She was a little girl, her dad was raising her. So I related to her so much. And I stopped doing it, but I wonder like how that made her feel. But I would just pick her up and we'll stop at Sheets. We used to get something from Sheets and we'll normally go back to her house. We would play at the playground. But it just is starting to come to me. There are a lot of dads who are raising their daughters and they don't have a woman around. And then you grow up to be like me, who are super like straightforward. But I would love to, there are a lot of little girls out there, a lot of kids really that need like a big sister.
Yeah. Or an auntie.
Or mommy, whatever. We embrace all that. We are mommy, we're auntie, we be big sis, we are all of those things as women. And for each kid, somebody needs something.
Yeah.
A 15-year-old may need just a bigger sister that is, and I have a little sister, that is a positive, influence in her life. There's a story for me, but just having a positive outlet